white club guy. What do you want to do here, son?
Why don't you talk about maybe hitting it low, hitting it high? Do a little bit about shaft speed we talked about the other day or something like that.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Well, we have got these questions too hard for me. When I'm getting ready to play a shot from around the green, or not even necessarily around the green, the philosophy works pretty much. I have a plan, and I try to get this across to everybody. Can I get this guy on the other side of here? I have eyes back there, but you might have a gun. And I think that this is very, very, very important. It should be part of what is now commonly called the pre-shot routine. And it's a big deal now, but it's not like it hasn't been around forever. I have a set of rules or guidelines. Not really a rule, but it's a guideline. And the first rule is I want to get out of trouble. Number 2, on the green. Number 3, close. Now you watch the good players. Most of the time they're able to get the ball up there semi around the hole. But the objective here is to get the ball down in 3, not 2. If you think 3 and you get down in 2, you go to the next tee, you're happy. If you think 2, a lot of times you get down in 3 or 4, and how do you go to the next hole? You don't want to play it. So I always try to figure out, where my next shot is going to be from, because it's the last 2 shots on every hole that count, unless you make a hole in one. So that's very important. I have one story about when I was playing in the Masters. I was on the 15th hole, par 5, and the pin is middle right, maybe 8 yards from the bunker there, 7 or 8 yards. Nowadays they don't put the pins on the green. They used to put them on the greens. And I hit my ball in the very back of the bunker on the right. And there's a lot of history there. There's people that have chipped the ball in the back of the green into the lake, things like that. And that's because the green is going downhill. It's very narrow. I looked at the shot, and I could hit it down the middle of the green, and it would roll all the way down there, so I'd have like a 50 or 60 footer. If I got out of the bunker and it went down the green, if I shot at the pin, chances are it's going to go. 1 out of 2 or 3 is going to go in the water. And so I looked the shot over and I went down to the front of the bunker. And the front of the bunker was just short of pin eye. So if I hit the ball down in the front of this bunker, I got an uphill sand shot only about 15 feet. Be able to get down up and down to at least have a chance. Because my objective was I just wanted to get out of there with a par. And I wanted to do something where I made an 8, which happens there. I made an 8 on that hole before. So I hit my ball down in the front of the bunker and got in the bunker and pulled my next shot. Mr. Roberts was behind the green there, and he came up to me and he said, "Sonny, that shot will make the highlights of the movie this year." I said, "Well, thank you very much." I said, "That's the only touch shot I had." So, but by playing smart, not necessarily playing at the hole, I ended up bettering my, score than I ever thought that I'd ever do. That's it. Important. The other day when I was watching somebody, they had to play way away from the hole. You got to get your ball out of. You got to get your ball out of trouble. So the thing that you're looking at, you're trying to figure out the shot. We don't have any shot like that now from here. But your objective is to always, get the ball up there where you have your best putt. It's not always right at the flag. Like if I'm hitting the shot to this pin right here, if I hit my ball 3 feet past and to the right of the hole, I got a hard putt. If I hit it 3 feet to the left here, I've got an easy putt. So I use that pin, and I use a circle or a square, and I try to get the ball in, and I'm a lot more, I'm not as lenient as a lot of people. A lot of people say, I get the ball within 5 or 6 feet here. That's not what I want to do. I want to get the ball closer to the hole, as close to the hole as I can. I'll still see what my lie is like. Obviously, it's very nice because I get my hand on the ball, and I've got a shot. The ball's going to break slightly left here. And what I want to try to do is I try to carry my ball onto the green as much as possible. In other words, I don't want to carry it any farther than I have to, but I want to carry it onto the green because the green is the best kept part of the golf course. It's the smoothest part usually, hopefully anyway. So I get to get the most consistent roll out of it. So this shot here is kind of a normal shot. This is too far away to hit what I call a chip shot. So maybe we'll have a chance to cover that. But I've got a 60-degree wedge here. I wouldn't use any less loft here because the ball would have a little bit too much roll, have a tendency to go past the pin. But like I said, I'd rather be a little bit short. I line it up. I pick out an area there, and there's some spike marks. There looks like a little area, some spike marks, but just past that green, that different colored green grass right there. If I land right about there, or just on the far side of it, I should be okay. So I don't practice this much anymore. I'm not as good as I used to be. There's no substitute for playing and practicing. My mind still knows what to do. Most often my body does not understand what it's supposed to do. And also, occasionally, what time is it?
You got 40 minutes.
No, it's not time for hockey yet. Sometimes I have to have that to settle you down. So then I'm going to take. Then I have the last part that I try to program here is I want to see the shot. I want to feel the shot. I want to rehearse the shot. I want to do it. You do those 4 things every time, you'll speed up play because you'll do a lot better at it. So, trying to find a feel for it. Take some rehearsal shots. All the balls that I play are all with a wedge shot between the left heel and the arch of the left foot. Why is that? Because the left arm and the left shoulder are my fulcrum and my hinge. The door swings like a door. So if I stand here and make a natural one-handed swing like that, where am I hitting the ground? Right there. I want to hit underneath the ball, like Sam Snead told me. You want to hit underneath the ball. You don't hit down on the ball, you hit underneath the ball. So if I stand up here like this and I play the ball back at my stance, which is the way most people do, with the hands forward, and I make a natural swing, I miss the ball. So if I stand here like this, and I play the ball in the right place, and I do this and I just swing, get underneath the ball naturally. So I want to hit the ball at the bottom of the swing. I'll vary the angle of my swing and the pitch of my swing to vary the flight. Like this one, I don't want this to go high, so I will lean a little bit to the left. I'll have my weight to the left-hand side. The shaft will be leaning slightly forward, and so that I hit the ball right at the end of the downswing, beginning of the bottom of the swing. There's a flat spot here. That flat spot is it's like an egg here. About 2 or 3 inches behind it, 2 or 3 inches forward. I hit the ball anywhere in there, I can hit it. If I hit this ball and I hit back here, I didn't hit the ground. I hit underneath the ball. So you don't have to hit the ground. You don't have to beat on the ground. You don't have to. The biggest problem, a lot of people say, well, I stick it in the ground. Well, I didn't hit the ground and I hit the ball. I hit the ball up on the face very nicely because I hit it at the bottom of the swing. You hit down on it, it sticks. If I hit the bottom of the club like this, I use the flange, the club skids right along the ground. So if we were going to talk about the flange, and the flanges are different. This is a neutral flange. Has a little bit of bounce on it. You can see that it has a good bounce on it. Still has the cutout. This is a little bit narrower. And this one here is much, much wider. See the difference in those flanges there. Right. This flange here is fine if you use the flange. It has enough bounce on it. Some people like a little bit bigger flange because it makes them feel more secure. I don't care what kind of flange you use. Like I said, it's a matter of how the club goes into the ground. This one here is pretty flat. This has a radius to it. This has a radius to it. And any one of these clubs, I can hit it off. Like I get in here, that's a pretty tight line. That scares most people, right? If I hit this shot, better watch out, I might hit a line drive. See that ball came right out of it? You can't even tell where I hit it. Got up in the air really nicely. Why did that ball get up in the air? Because I used the flag. I used the bottom of the club. That's the most important part of this part of the shot. This is a safety. This is a safety net. Oh, that one I bladed a little bit. I did too far behind it. Yeah, hit that hump right there. And all I'm trying to do is just drive the club right into the ground underneath it. There's another line drive. That's good. It's not afternoon yet. But this now, to me, I don't like this flange because that would still give me too much of that bounce. And I made it up just to try and see, because there's a lot of guys seeming to like that big flange now. If I take this club here, see that came out of there perfect, because the first thing that happens is that I want the high spot on your wedge to be on the, like the third or fourth groove. And that's right where you're going to hit the ball. This controls where you hit the ball on the face. I can take this club and lay it wide open, which I don't do. What I do is I tend to, if I want to hit the ball high, I open my body. I try to keep my face at the target. That ball comes high and soft, like that. If I want to hit the ball a little lower, square up, set my weight on the left side, square the face up. Well, I'm consistent. Like I said, my mind and my body don't work together anymore. So, but see, each time you can't tell where I'm, because I use that flange. But that flange will get underneath that ball. Most people are afraid of it, so they want to chop down on it. But the biggest thing that I can say is if I want to hit it low, I lean to the left, hands there. I try to return the shaft to the same point where it's. Until I haven't played golf since March. If I want to, I have 3 shots. Low, neutral, where I open. This is square stance, a little weight on the left. Neutral, a little more open. Weight 50-50, shaft straight up and down. Base of the club at the target. That ball went a little higher. That was a decent shot finally. Now if I want to hit it higher, ball still off of here, I open the face to my body, but where's the face pointed? At the target. So I still want to swing towards the target. See, that went much higher. So that's the way I hit the ball, the varying heights. Because I have three heights. I have more variations than that. I mean, with Paul running like Chuck Corday knows as many shots as I do. We're quite extensive with Paul also. That I know that I got at least 125 different shots from him, and I know he didn't give me all the cookies. He still took some with him. But you know, those are the three things. Those are the three starting points. Is what I want to do with the ball flight, and it doesn't make any difference, you know, what kind of lie you have. If I'm going to go a little bit, you know, a little bit bigger, say I'm going to go to this hole over here. Well, this is a little bit downhill, so I want to look where I want to putt from. So I'm not planning on holding this, but I might. But it's a bonus. This shot here, I'm going to play with my weight a little bit on the left-hand side. So my weight's squared up, hands are a little bit to the left. Greens are slow, Sean. I think that shot there would get to the hole. That'll get to the hole. No, it won't either. There's no reason to hit, you know, a flop shot or something like that on a shot like this. There's no reason to do that. The farther you hit the ball in the air, the harder you're going to do it. I learned how to do all this stuff with chipping and pitching with on down all the way to a 6-iron. These players don't play that way anymore. Most of them play with a wedge. And I'm not sure I understand that, but I know what their thinking is, and I hear this when I'm teaching a lot in this part of the game. Well, I know what this club will do. If I have 6 or 7 clubs, and I know what each one of them does, and you have one club, who's going to win? That's a question. You. Yeah, I am. You bet. So, you know, I see, you know, these guys taking a wedge on a shot from here to that far hole, and they're carrying the ball past. They're carrying the ball in that hole. Yeah, I know that if I carry that ball in that little swale there, that my ball will just be short of the hole. Let's see if I have enough power to get it that far. I hit that ball about 2 feet too far, and I went 5 feet too far. But that was still a good shot. But if I was to hit that shot with huh? 55. I think there's 55 here. Gonna hit this shot. crooked. Wow. Forget to get these springs today. Have you ever heard a player admit to a mistake? Never. Never. It's always the caddy's fault. Or
Come on, John.
that's a 51. That went a little bit too far. But this would be the shot that I would probably choose here. That's very good right there. But that's where I want to putt from. That shot there. So I would use that. I would use that club. There, I would not carry the ball into that. Sometimes you do have to, and it's an unusual circumstance when you have to carry the ball. You can carry the ball into that uphill slope and kill it. But most of the time, you want the ball to roll like a putt. I can remember Gary Player and I were playing at the Jackie Gleason tournament in Fort Lauderdale. Inbury, and the last hole we were both in the bunker, and we had a shot about from here to this pin here, and he hit, our balls about that far apart, and he hit first. He carried his ball up there like 3 or 4 feet for the ball and spun it around and ended up about like that, and the people went wild. And I got up and I hit a shot and I hit the ball. Oh, we have my 55. That was pretty good, but I want the ball rolling, so I hit the sand shot and I landed about 12, 15 feet short of the hole, and rolled in the hole just like a putt. Nobody said a word. And he came up to me and he said, "Why didn't you carry that ball up to the hole and spin it?" I said, "Because all I know is that my ball acted just like a putt when I got on the green. It rolled right in the front lip, right in the hole." When the ball's dancing and spinning like that, it doesn't have nearly the chance that it does if it's rolling like a putt. So that's what I try to do. That's what running would teach me to do. And what he believed in very much was, and Sean and I've been working with this for several times, because they've now all of a sudden, with the advent of the launch monitor, they've come out of the speed of the ball. The speed of the ball has always been my philosophy. I never want the ball, I want to control the speed of the ball. I can make the ball go different speeds. Like, I'll hit this ball here, and this ball will have a nice slow flight. And that's just a slow, dead ball. And then I'll hit it, and I can hit it. Watch the speed of that ball, and then see how fast that ball was there. So once you control the speed, then you'll be able to get the right distance. The name of the game is hit the ball pin high. I don't care where it is. Iron, whatever. If you hit the ball pin high, you're going to be all right. So you will learn to control the speed of the ball so that the ball reacts the same all the time. All right, when I'm hitting this shot, all right, I'm swinging a pendulum. Where's the club going fastest and where's it going slowest?
Same.
Pardon? I can't hear anybody.
The same.
It's slowing right here, but it's going. It has zero acceleration at the ball, right? If I swing that pendulum to the right, if I hit the ball where I have zero acceleration, I'm going to get much better control of the speed. If I there's people that say, well, you go to the same follow through all the time. You don't do that. You swing, whatever the backswing is, follow through is the same length or a little bit longer. Because it doesn't really stop up here, it just has a change of direction, it has a little bit of a load. I see a lot of these younger players now using virtually no wrist to swing all arms. They don't control the wrist. Not to pick on Jason Day any, but Jason Day supposedly has a very good short game. He does have a very good short game. He's also an excellent putter, much better putter than he is a chipper and pitcher. But he swings all arms, no wrist. There's a length and a time, the mass that you swing the club and the speed that you swing the club that propels the ball the right distance. Well, what he has a tendency to do is to swing to here and then accelerate. Accelerate on the. See how fast that ball went? So if you swing it like a pendulum, then the ball has, you get very similar speed, so you control the ball. Now, what stops the ball?
Trajectory.
That's good. Who said that?
Just the Cox.
That's good because most people think you don't put a lot of spin on these shots here. You stop the ball by trajectory. If I take this ball like this, and I drop, I have no spin. It didn't go anyplace. So the air time, the flight that the ball goes is totally different. So if let me have the 55 again. Okay, now watch the trajectory here and the speed. We're going to try to get it to that third pin there. See where that ball carried and how much it rolled because of the trajectory. That ball will have the same amount of spin that this one will. Carried a little bit too far, carried on the downhill. Finally got one there. Oh, played at that. Terrible. Practiced the other day, Sean. I never missed a shot. You see, that ball had a slow speed and stopped much faster because of the trajectory. Now, so you use trajectory to make the ball roll or stop, and you try to control the speed. You obviously take a bigger swing here. Should be able to stop that on the green. Can't do it.
Quick question for you guys. How many greens have 2 humps before you get to that second pin at a chipping green area? Not many. Who do you think designed these?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody know? Personally, he personally designed the Mickelson. When the course was closed for the clubhouse was closed for a year and a half. This place actually operated out of 2 tents right here, trailers. And when the trailers went out, Mickelson just happened to be there that day. And I asked him what his opinion was, and he volunteered, and he showed up at 7 o'clock the next morning with our shaper to design these 2 greens. So Mickelson's idea is that all short games are too many flat lies, everything's pitched the same way. And if you look at these 2 greens and you look at all the movement, the other thing he asked me was, is this a chipping area or a putting area? And if you know the course, we have a putting green down by the first tee. So I actually said, it's actually kind of more of a chipping area. And so I had in my mind before he got involved to put 1 green here that could be a dual purpose. So he actually put 2 greens in here with a lot of movement, just so you have to practice. And one of the reasons it's so hard, Phil, is your landing spots around here have to be exactly right in order to get the spin right to get the ball close to the hole. So that's how Phil's brain thinks about how can I get better at short game. This is like Disneyland for short game in a small space.
I hit one of these shots before I quit.
There you go.
Can't believe it.
Hey.
That's the first one I didn't hit fat.
Can we get a couple questions? We got about 10 minutes.
But that's the basic philosophy, and I think, you know, Chuck Cook and I, more Chuck than myself, we used to do a lot with, still do anything with Dick Coop.
Yeah.
He's the one that we first started doing this stuff with 35 years ago, 40 years ago, but making your plan. There's 2 things that you have to do. You want to make your plan. You want to follow it. Not going to hit every shot. But the thing is that, you know, if you follow your plan, you can't feel badly about, oh, that was a stupid shot, right, dumb shot. That's the most important thing, because going to the next hole or the next shot has a major difference in being positive and being negative. And if you're trying to stay, and golf is a very hard game, it's a very frustrating game. Ben Hogan played 1 time, he shot 66 and he hit 6 good shots. So his shots, 6 good shots to the field, a bunch of good shots to the rest of them. They weren't very good for him. But, you know, the more precise you can bring that tunnel in, the better you're going to be.
Bill, make a comment?
Yes.
Phil and I did school. One of the things that he did with his chipping is he would set it up as ways to calibrate your stroke, calibrate your chipping stroke. And so you'd have it set up to where you'd have the same target, and then you'd have to land at different spots with different clubs. So he had a formula for that. He says if the green's normal, if the lie is normal, etc., hardness, softness, so forth, you'd have 1-to-1 ratio over the same wedge carry and roll if your chipping is correct. And 1-to-2 if it's pitching wedge, if that was correct. 1-to-3 with a 9-iron. And so you go back and you know, I said, well, yeah, I mean, you hit that too low, that's why it went too far. Okay, you hit that, cut that too much, got too much spin. And it's real easy to correct as a way to calibrate your chipping. And he did all these two. I mean, we had, 36 handicappers that when they left, they could chip the ball pretty good. And that was with average golfers. That wasn't with tour players or anything like that. But it was putting grip with chipping off the range.
Yeah.
All the bread and butter shots.
Yeah, off-green putting with the putting grip, a little weight left, and calibrate that chipping. That was, it was phenomenal the stuff that he brought back then. Nobody did that. Runyon talked about putting chip, but Bill was one that popularized around the world. He was a teacher. Some for me, some for the talks he gave, and then I'd do one, and I'd say, yeah, this is Bill Rodgers' method, and the pitching was, I don't know about the pitching. The pitching was loop outside, drop it inside, underhand release.
Well,
Those average guys couldn't do that too good. They thrown that one across the ring. But Bill could do it. That's for sure.
well, the whole problem, the whole thing that you have to do when you get that sequence, the loop doesn't come with the arms. The loop comes with the shaft of the club. And if I take the club over here like this, then I have to loop it this way to hit the ball. I can't come from back here to hit it. You swing it up here, and you swing it up here. The load comes at the transition, and if you get the sequence right, like we talked about earlier, if you get the sequence, if I go like this, where there's no load and then stop and start, everything goes together. There's a sequential motion. It's kind of like the flag flapping in the breeze. I go back, shift, and then let the club drop on the ball. Go back, shift, let the club drop on the ball. If I go back and do that, I was having trouble with my sequence early because I'm not getting my upper body to rotate enough. I was too stiff, and I was like, but all I ever do, the first thing I do is I go right there, 1, shift 2, release 3. So if you watch this, it'll do it. 1, 2, 3. So you get that shift, and that's the same thing in your golf swing. That's the hardest part for the average golfer to do there is to get that sequence done. And so there's several things that I think that should be done, and but that sequence, that's what I said earlier. The sequence and all those things in the short shots are just as the same thing as they are in the long game. And when we worked with Ralph Mann, and he had this high-speed film, and it showed every one of these players had it, even though they didn't think they did it. There was a load. There's a load in every shot. So the idea is to get it so that one shift. It's the best shot I hit today. So, and the other thing that I believe in very strongly, and it goes along with kind of what I was talking about with Carl Lewis. I want to keep my head still. I don't want to separate my body parts where I'm standing here like this, totally stagnant, and moving my upper part. How many times have you seen that? Where you just move your upper part in your arms. I want you to move your feet. Your feet dictate the rhythm. I mean, if I'm casually walking like this, my arms are swinging the same. They're going the opposite direction, but they're going. If I pick up the pace, start walking faster, my arms go faster. So the amount that I move my feet is what I want to do. So if I'm standing here, okay, I want to. Ah, yes. That was a bad line. So I want to try to keep my head as stable as possible. I mean, running used to have a thing on the tee, on the practice tee there. There was like a steel worker's helmet. You had it attached. You put your head in there and put a strap on it. You used to hit balls with that thing locked in there. Like that. So, he was the second person that told me about you don't want your head moving at all.
Scott has a question over here.
Yes.
Hi, Phil. Do you make any adjustments when you're pitching into heavy grain?
The heavy grass?
Heavy grain. Where it'll have a tendency to get caught up as soon as you make contact with the golf ball? We probably don't have any here, but
Yeah,
maybe.
we do. Right over here where the camera is. Now, I want to get my club down to where I measure to the ball. One of the things that I've learned, and I don't know whether anybody here watches tournament golf and watches the announcers. And when the guys hit it out of the rough and they hit the ball right, the ball goes up there, and a lot of times they hit the ball up here. That's because they get too far underneath the ball. So the ball doesn't get there. So what I try to do here is, number one, I want to grip the club a little firmer, actually a lot firmer. My wrists and forearms, which I don't have any anymore. And I want to hit it like a sand shot, where jeez, that's terrible. Never done this. Good. Can't get over. Now, see, I almost got that ball perfect, but I didn't hit any grass. And what I try to do is I try to get the swing to come as level as possible, get as much rotation as possible. And what I need is a little more shaft speed, so that I get the ball up on but I don't want to get the ball high up on the face. So what I feel like you can do, what I teach my players is that, like, all right, there's the cushion. We're going to use that cushion, but I'm measuring my club to the ball. If I do that, where's the club going to hit the ball? So what do I have to do to hit it on the face?
Pull it up.
What? Swing
I
level,
gotta
measure
pull
yourself
it
to the
up.
ball and swing level.
I got to pull it up.
Right, hold on. I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
So what Runyon wanted me to, what he always tried to get us to do was to stretch to the ball, measure to the ball, and then stretch to the ball like that, so you hit the ball on the face of the club.
We call that underreach.
Underreach. So that's the best shot I hit today. Finally. Half hour later. But but you want to be firm, but you want to have everything together here. And you regulate it, you know, like this isn't that heavy. That's pretty heavy right there. And so it's a matter of how hard.
Does the flange or the boss make a difference when you're there?
Well,
I noticed you stayed with that one. You stayed with that one club from the tighter lie. You didn't really change clubs.
well, you know, I came around before they had 14 different wedges. So I learned all this stuff with one club,
Right.
or two clubs. Whereas today's guys, basically they just change clubs to create it depending on how far you want to hit it. You know, but you gotta make it go faster. Say I'm gonna hit it down to the.
So for the average player, what would you recommend from them? Can you speculate?
Well, there's no substitution for air. The more you hit it in the air, the better you do. But the whole idea is to not let the hosel go. You know, where the hosel catches the grass and the club turns over. So it's very important that you keep the shaft. Sean and I were going to talk about that, but we didn't get to that. Where you keep the shaft speed, where the shaft is going over. The face isn't moving, but the shaft is going faster. So if I want to hit it farther, say to the back of the green or down there towards that other green from this line here, then that was just a lot faster, but I had more shaft speed. I didn't change. I wasn't doing anything with the face. I wasn't hitting it like this. I was just hitting it with the whole shaft rotating. So that's a shot that a lot of people don't like. They don't know how to really play it. But you can do the same thing off of this good line like this.
I think we should end it on that one.
Pardon?
I think we should end it on that one. So that was pretty good. Right. I think we should wrap
got
it up.
it in the air.
I know. We don't want to. We don't want your burger to get sick.
Anyway, I can see that I better go around this area a little bit more.
We've been practicing up top. It's easy up there.
It's a little easier, yeah. A little different shot. But anyway, the one thing that I want to emphasize, again, when I do my teaching, people make these notes. And I think that it's important is that you need to memorize the 4 things. Get out of trouble, get on, get close, and get the ball back in play first. That's the most important part. And just not ever think about 2. I mean, the only time you think about 2 or holding it is if you're playing match play and your opponent's up there laughing and giggling at you already. It's got you. You don't have any other choice. Then you have to be able to accept it. So that's the best thing you can do for yourself is to keep yourself in the proper mental state. And those are some of the ways to do that. I've got it. Boys now 13. guarantee you that he could be 50% of the pros on the tour from 30 yards. He is good. You know, he's like a sponge. He does everything. You know, I feel like the yardage is more important as you get closer to the hole. The more close to the hole, the more the precise the game gets. You know, it goes from tens of yards or 15s of yards to feet to inches as you get closer to the hole. So that's, you can emphasize that, and people will get better fast. You know, also there's virtually nobody that can't improve their short game. And there's a lot of people that can't improve their long game. You know, simply because they don't have the time or they don't have the physical ability. All that. I've only had one person in my 45 years of teaching who was so spastic that he couldn't do it.
Don't talk about me like Please.
I wasn't going to name names. I was thinking about it, but I wasn't going to name names. Any questions?
No, we're done.
Just got a quickie?
Quick one.
So, you talked about letting the club fall on the ball.
Yes.
What's the way you
Yes.
swing, you let it gravitationally fall.
Yes.
So, what do you do to teach people that? I see a lot of people that pull and tug on the club. So, what do you do to teach them the falling, the swinging of the club?
Well, we could do that with Chuck. And Chuck would probably talk about that too. But yeah, it's all a matter of strength and sequence and the thing about the short game is that we're trying to maximize power in the long game. Here you're trying to control power. So, and the length of the club has a lot to do with it. I use a metronome. I set the metronome on like 66 or 67 beats per minute. That every swing takes the same amount of time. If I swing this pendulum from here, that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, same time. How did the swing get longer? Faster.
But do you do things like that with people?
Yes.
Having them swing?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I try to impress on it. I want the club to have zero acceleration. When you hit the ball in the ground, don't stop anyway. I don't want you to force it. If I swing from here, and I swing over here, where's the fastest part of the swing? Way over here. What's right there? That's also, when the shaft, what I also strive for with everybody is when you hit the ball, I want this to be in a straight line. I want to be like this, I want to be like this. Where's the face now? Where's the face there? Where's the shaft pointed? Right there, everything's pointed at the target. I didn't have to move the face, I just put the shaft straight at the top. You start with the shaft and the face on line, and you keep it there. And you're better, and your swing should be, like, I can hit shots I can hit cut shots and hook shots. I go to the far pin, I can hit a hook shot, I square up like this and close the face down to the target, swing inside out. Yeah, I can hit that's a hook type swing and a cut type swing. My face is still in the same place, and I can swing. Plus the deflection angle that also has a lot to do with it. This is straight. This arrow, these grooves are straight. You hit it there at this line, tilt it, goes to the left, tilt it this way, it goes to the right. So if I want the ball to cut, then what do? I get more upright. The face is still at the target. That's cut shot. Like, if I want to hook it, I get down here like this. That's a hook. But I didn't do anything, just change the line of the club. You know, the path was pretty much the same, except it's more round because it's farther away from it. But it's the deflection at the end of the ball off of the club face that counts. That's the big difference between separating the tour pros and stuff. Their deflection angle is really good. Chuck works with the launch monitor. With the launch monitor, and 1 or 2 degrees, 1 degree. It's a lot for a good player.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, gentlemen.
So that, you know, that's the thing. It's not necessarily. It's just how the face is. It's how the angle of the swing that you come in. So you get the right. So you get the right deflection angle.
All right, we're going to go to lunch. Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
We're going to Donovan's.
Right up.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We're going back to the same place we had the speaking. It should be out on the patio. Be right there.
Thank you.